Hey guys, so today we're filming a video about a topic that has been kind of hot for the last 2 days. There is some beef between two YouTubers and it's been kind of building and we saw it was happening and it was doing a thing and then it, exploded. So we're just going to talk about that. But before I get into the video, in my last video I mentioned that YouTube is doing some crazy things behind the scenes when it comes to unsubscribing people from people's channels. And you guys confirmed that for me in my last video. I had hundreds of comments basically just saying, oh my god, you told me to go check if I was subscribed. And I wasn't, even though I remember subscribing to you. And they were like, we missed 10, 20 videos because it just now appeared on our homepage. They also don't send out notifications if you don't click all. And even when you click all, sometimes it still doesn't send out notifications, but that's fine. That's besides the point. Anyway, so you're on this video right now. Could you please scroll down and just make sure that if you were subscribed, that you still are subscribed and that you have your notifications turned on. And if at any point during the video you think that you really enjoy my content, then, while you're there, you can also subscribe and become a member of this quite big family we have. I think this would be considered a big family. Like always, social media and second channel will be in description, along with any other links that you might need. Also, while I'm being a good YouTuber, engagement's really important to push videos out. The more, comments and likes I get, the more the video gets pushed out. So if at any point you have anything to say, don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed, just leave a comment. Now let's get into the video. Today's video is about slight beef between Trisha Paytas and James Charles. Now, how this started is quite interesting because there is kind of an intricate timeline here that I'm going to try to explain in very simple terms. So, Trisha Paytas is on a podcast called Frenemies with H3H3 Ethan Klein. And on that podcast, it was an episode where they were spilling tea at the start, essentially just going over glam and gore stuff, just a few pieces of drama, and Trisha Paytas shaded James Charles. She said that he left a comment under a drama video, essentially just calling her out under a drama video. Now, I don't know what drama video that was. She never really said. She never said a specific drama channel name. She kind of mixed up different names together and made a concoction of different drama channels. But the tea was that he had shaded her under a drama channel video. So she says that he's very condescending, and that comes after the drama between H3H3 Ethan and James Charles, where, let's recap once again, Ethan's wife Ela has a clothing company called Teddy Fresh. They have their very iconic color block hoodie in many different colors. One of their main and most popular color waves is this one, and James Charles then came out with merch which was pastel color block, and it looks like this. Now if I put them side by side, the colors are in the exact same spots, so they are a different tone, different vibe, but what Ethan was coming at here is that they are in the same spots, the exact same placement. Now, some people agree with Ethan, some people agree with James. There are very polarizing opinions. There's no one that's kind of in between. You're either here or there. So that happened, and Ethan released some DMs where he said that James Charles was very condescending towards him, using condescending emojis and kind of just sounding like he doesn't really care. Which is why Ethan then made a very long exposed video on James Charles, and that's that on that. So then he has a podcast with Trisha now, and Trisha says that he is very condescending, and the way he comes across to other people in messages or replies is very condescending. So that's her opinion and Ethan's opinion. Now, moving forward a little bit, we have the Ace family drama, which I can't believe I'm having to explain the storyline here. It's that meme of the guy with the board and he's got all the pictures and they're all connected by dots and he's going insane trying to explain it to someone. Me with drama on the internet. So then we move forward and we have Ace family drama, which I spoke about recently. I'll have that video in description, but just to recap, there was a video that came out called A Day in the Life of Catherine, and she was the one that was filming, editing. It was just supposed to be about her, kind of how she lives her life rather than the whole family, and she had left in a bit that wasn't supposed to be edited. Now also I want to add, some YouTubers and some people have been saying that the clip had an edited swear word in it. So some people were starting conspiracy theories saying that if she had edited out a swear word, bleeped it out, then why couldn't she edit out the whole clip? Which means some people thought that she left it on purpose to send a message to people saying that she was in some kind of danger. Now, I want to say that the original clip, not clips put into drama videos, because drama channels obviously are going to censor out the swear word. And that's not to shade any YouTubers that said that. I think it's an easy mistake to make, because drama channels, when they take a clip from another channel, they will tend to bleep out swear words just for our own sake of monetization. But the original clip did not bleep out the swear word, which means she probably just skipped that whole part of the video. Now, whether she kept it on purpose or not is a whole separate story, but the swear word in the original video was not bleeped out. Of course, the way I put it into videos has it bleeped out, but that's me doing it, not them doing it. So that's a debunked, I guess, conspiracy theory. It's a video of them trying to film a bit for the vlog, and Austin had his hair's messed up or something, and he does want to film a clip for the video, and he swears and pops off a little bit, and the kids are on standby waiting to start filming the vlog because they're in their 9-to-5 job. The moment they decide to start filming again, the kids turn back on and they're like, hey guys, and it's just really concerning to watch because you're like, these kids don't understand, but they're essentially employees. That happens, and then Catherine and Austin film a video called We're Going to Therapy. In that video, they explain the whole situation. They don't go to therapy, but they explain the whole situation, saying how it happened. Catherine makes a lot of excuses for Austin. She says that everyone paints him out to be the villain, when in reality, I mean, he kind of is. You know, with everything that's happened to that family, most of the drama surrounding the Ace family has been started by Austin. You know, the lollipop drama, the ski jet drama, the cheating scandals, the other scandals, like everything, whether alleged, confirmed, denied, whatever it is, it always centers around Austin. It's never centered around Catherine or the kids. It's always Austin. So to make it sound like we're villainizing him when in reality he's just doing really stupid that's making your family look bad, those are two separate things, and let's not mix them together. So then Trisha Paytas on her TikTok story kind of does like a recap of drama, and she basically goes over why she thinks the Ace family is awful. I think she did 3 or 4 parts on the Ace family, and she discussed Austin mocking and mocking victims and mocking the fact that people were concerned for Catherine, saying, oh, like, does she have a bruise on her head? Or like people were debating whether there's like a hole in the wall, and people are just concerned. People are concerned if Catherine feels comfortable in her household. When he starts joking about it, Catherine goes, oh, that's not okay. And he does like a weird face. And then I didn't really mention that in my original video. And then she kind of, I don't know if she backpedals or if originally she wasn't mad at Austin, she was mad at the people. And instead of going, it's not okay to make these jokes because people could genuinely be concerned and it's coming out of the goodness of their heart, she turns it on the audience and goes, how could you guys accuse Austin of using me without any proof? And it's like, well, the proof is there because you uploaded it, you know? So like if people are concerned about you, that's not something to condemn. That's something to be like, oh, I'm thankful for these people being concerned for me. And it's not like we're not the ones mocking it, right? Like we're not the ones mocking it. It was Austin in this clip mocking it. The people watching that clip were your fans, and they say it's not our fans. It's not our fans. It is your fans. It was your fans. They're very young. They don't understand. When you leave a clip like that in, people are going to be concerned, right? Like that's not out of the question. It's not people mocking it. It's people actually being concerned for you. It's an uncomfortable conversation to have, and I understand how it's uncomfortable for your husband to be, or your partner to be accused of that. But at the same time, you gave people reasons to accuse him of that by leaving that clip in by accident. So, you know, it's maybe instead of condemning the audience, just be like, let's not make jokes about it. She makes Austin to be the victim. She's like, oh, he's always villainized. He's always the bad guy, but he's like the best. Like I said, every single drama they've had centers around Austin in some way, shape or form. He's always the one doing really stupid. It's like he's got 2 kids, a partner, he's in a long-term relationship, has a house and adult responsibilities, but he's stuck in this 15-year-old head. He behaves like a child, and I don't know how she survives with him. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, this is the part where I'm gonna get unprofessional. I don't know how she survives with him because I would lose my mind. He behaves like a child. Anyway, we'll move past that. It's just opinions, subjective. And then Trisha makes the first James Charles remark where she compares Austin to James Charles, saying that they're both condescending and narcissistic and all of that stuff. Then she makes a TikTok, another one following up, just basically saying everyone has a problem with Austin, not because we villainize him, but because he villainizes himself. And then she shows a thumbnail that he used for a video where his daughter is twerking. She's about 4, and he like chases her off like the good dad that he is, instead of just not posting that. And then the thumbnail is like her twerking in a little crop top. It's very cuties, isn't it? Like cuties Netflix once again. Like I don't think you have to condemn sexualizing of children by actually children, and it's once again the whole cuties thing. Then she says that people have good reasons to dislike him, and so far I'm like, Trisha is spilling so much tea, like except for the James Charles stuff. I don't really, you know, whatever, but about the Austin stuff, like she's really hitting the nail on the head. And everyone in the comment section is like, weirdly, we're all agreeing with Trisha here. This is weird. For the first time in forever, we're all just like in unison with Trisha. The thing is, I don't think Trisha is dumb. I think it's a character that she plays, right? It's like Tana Mojo. Like, to get to that point on the internet where everyone supposedly hates you, but you've managed to live on the internet for years making money, like, you can't be dumb. You have to be somewhat intelligent, and I think Trisha Paytas is an intelligent woman, but she uses that blonde woman glam persona to pull like a Paris Hilton, right? It's like a Paris Hilton effect where you pretend to be really stupid and people are super intrigued by you, and even if they hate you because you say controversial shit, it's the intrigue, it's the pulling people in by saying controversial stuff, and then they go to watch your videos because they want to hate on you. And with any other YouTuber, when they get like a really bad like to dislike ratio or they get hate comments, all of us get really stressed out about it because we don't want to offend people. With Trisha, if she gets a like really bad like to dislike ratio, that's actually good for her because it's usually a video that gets a lot of views. I think she's intelligent. I think she just does this on purpose. She says that people have a good reason to villainize him, but I think it takes two to tango, right? That's like the saying. I think if Catherine really didn't want that to be happening, like the stuff with the daughter, right, and the lollipop situation, like she wouldn't let that happen because they both own the channel together. They are co-parenting, cohabiting, co-owning the channel. Realistically, if she wasn't okay with some of the things he's doing, she wouldn't let him do them because it's a 50-50 effort for the channel. Like what he does in his personal life, their business, but whatever he does publicly also reflects on her. So the fact that she didn't stop him from uploading any of the stuff that he had uploaded, I mean, it takes two to tango, right? So she says that she has no vendetta against them, like she's never had like a bad experience with them, but she doesn't really have a reason to hate them except for now. She's like, now I'm noticing so many red flags with that family and how they run their channel. And then she goes into James Charles and she goes, he's narcissistic and sociopathic. And I think that was the video on which he commented this, basically just telling her to stop talking about him because she doesn't know him, which is fair enough. Like, I don't think you can call someone a sociopath without knowing them, but I feel like that would be hypocritical for me to say, because I feel like I've called people sociopathic without knowing them. Because sometimes you just get a vibe, you're like, that's sociopathic behaviour. Like Jake Paul and Logan Paul filming someone in a forest, that was sociopathic behaviour. Doing the stuff that Jake Paul does, sociopathic behaviour. But I think at the end of the day, if you don't know someone, you don't have a diagnosis, then you can't accuse someone of that. So that happens, and then she compares James Charles to Austin, but she says at least James Charles doesn't have a family and kids that this poorly reflects on. So then James Charles, responds, and the next morning she wakes up and she films a 5-part thing on James Charles on TikTok because of that comment. I feel like if he had just not commented, this wouldn't have been a thing. But sometimes as a human being, you see people talking about you, you want to respond, and when you respond, you're like, it's now become a bigger deal than it needed to be. I feel like sometimes James Charles genuinely just behaves like a human being. Like he's just like, oh, someone's saying really bad things about me, I want to respond. As a human being would, because you think, oh, this might like clear up some things, and then it just turns into mayhem. And this is what happened here, as always. So she goes into this like rant about James Charles and why she hates him, and she does say that he's one of the only person that she hates. So she says that people dislike him because he's arrogant and that he can't pull the don't talk about me card because he's a public figure and people are allowed to talk about him because he puts himself out there to be talked about. And it's the same thing that she said about Jaclyn Hill. So if you guys don't remember, recap, she filmed some Instagram stories and she spoke about Jaclyn Hill in a podcast that she does with her sister. Well, she did an episode with her sister where she talks about just different things that she thinks about Jaclyn Hill, whether true or not. She said them. And then apparently Jaclyn Hill was trying to sue her ex-husband who has been hanging out with Trisha Paytas. This is confusing. Anyway, so then Trisha basically said, like, how dare you make people sign NDAs? And how dare you sue people for talking about you when you're a public figure? Now, I don't agree with everything Trisha says. I think if you're a public figure, it's in your best interest to get people to sign NDAs. Not because you're trying to do anything shady. I don't think, that's what we should be using NDAs for. But I think just privacy reasons. I think celebrities, as we've seen with people like James Charles, where people just release his DMs all the time, there is a level of like, if you invite someone to your house and you have just things laying around, you don't have to clean up your house every time before you invite someone over. But, someone enters your house, you make them sign an NDA and then they leave. And as long as you're not doing anything criminal, you can sue them for breaking NDAs and showing, let's say, like your public record, like your personal documents or something. Like if they went around and took pictures of, I don't know how much money you make or something, you can just sue them because making money is not illegal. So it's the same thing that she said about Jaclyn Hill in Instagram stories, saying, how can you be a public figure who lives off of drama and then complain when people talk about you? I think I agree and disagree. Trisha is a public figure and she lives off negative opinions, and those negative opinions don't seem to actually affect her because they are what push and propel her career forward. Every time she has a scandal, she's that much bigger and she makes that much more money. So for her, she doesn't mind it when people talk about her, and also there is nothing to expose about her because she exposes everything about herself anyway. But for people like James Charles and Jaclyn Hill and me and drama channels and, people that just upload 20-minute videos twice a week on the internet, we possibly don't want everything about us out there. Some people just don't want their privacy invaded or have allegations made about their personal life or speculation. So I think she's coming at it from the point of like, all PR is good PR, whereas they're coming at it from the perspective of, what we put out there, but we don't want people speculating on our personal life. Two different perspectives, both correct in some way, shape or form, but also both incorrect in some way, shape or form. I don't know, you know where I'm coming from. Like if you're a public figure, people are allowed to express opinions about the things you do publicly, but you're also, as a human being who is a public figure, allowed to have some things be private. that's just my opinion on the matter. She then says that he's only popular because he gets into drama, and that he's gotten away with being cancelled so many times now because of that Tati situation where he was falsely accused of something, he bounced back, and now he's almost invincible. Like, he's indestructible because people don't want to make the same mistake again, if that makes sense. So people are not going to accuse him of anything until the proof is so concrete that it's undeniable. So I think what she's saying is, like, he gets away with things now because people feel bad. And I mean, do I think he's done anything cancel worthy? No. Otherwise I would have spoken about it. I think he's, you know, had a few outbursts as a 21-year-old would. The Lauren Conrad stuff, the Alicia Keys stuff. Has he done anything else? Oh, the Teddy Fresh stuff. I don't know. The things that you might consider shitty, depending on kind of where you lie morally or ethically. I feel like lately I've become, not lately, but over the course of my channel, I've tried to find distinguish the line between here is something that's actually cancel worthy, and then here are just mistakes that you're allowed to call out, but you don't have to cancel someone over them. There's a line. There is a line there. And everyone's line is in a different place, but my line is somewhere and then your line is going to be somewhere else. And for me, the stuff that James Charles has done isn't cancel worthy for me. Your opinions might be different. Anyway, so then she compares him to Glam and Gore, and she said, at some point, with you being so untouchable, you're going to fall harder. And she compares him to Glam and Gore in the sense that she was the unproblematic queen, so her fall from grace was a lot harder. So she's like, because you've gotten away with so many things, it might keep on building and building and building, and we're going to have another by sister situation where people are so fed up with these like little tiny things that they're going to look for any needle in the haystack to just cancel you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like back then during the by sister stuff, people believed what Tati said so quickly because they were already looking for a reason to cancel James. I think it was because of his ego and his lack of, I don't know, being humble. People were kind of angry at him, but they didn't have a reason to cancel him, so they were just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then the by sister video dropped and people were like, yep, here he is, cancel him. And you know, we all took part in that. I think we all were kind of maybe sick of James's ego, and I think since then he has definitely humbled himself. But I think it's also just growing up and maturing. I think he went from a 19-year-old to a 21-year-old, and like I said before, I think I've mentioned that in a few videos, I think until between the ages of like 15 and 25, every year is so different. Every month is very different. Like the way I am now is so different to a year ago, and year ago is very different to the year before that. And then I feel like after 25, when your brain is done developing, it takes a lot longer for you to change as a human being. Like it takes a couple of years for your opinions to start changing. Whereas when you're 15, you know, 1 week you might believe one thing, and then the next week you're like, oh, I believe something else now. So I think the ages at which people are becoming famous now are so dangerous because you change so much year to year, but you're going to be called out for the person you were a year before, who is not the person that you are now. So I think the fact that James Charles became so famous so quickly is kind of really dangerous for him, because he's definitely not the person he was when he was, you know, the ambassador of CoverGirl or on Ellen, or even when he was during the By Sister scandal. I think he's changed so much, whether it's for good or for bad. I mean, it's your opinion to make, but I'm just saying people change a lot during the teenage to young adult years. That was a tangent once again. So then she says that he shows no accountability. He just kind of puts stuff out there, and he has like a lack of self-awareness or accountability. So that's kind of her opinion on him. And then she says that he was revived with TikTok. She then kind of makes a weird suggestion, and she's like, oh, once, you know, you grow old, they're gonna leave you because you're gonna be too old for them. Now, other than Charlie D'Amelio, all the rest of them are around his age, like 1 year here, 1 year there, but they're all around the same age. I think it just seems like they're all really young because they make content aimed at young people, but they're all in the like 19 to 21 sphere, except for Charlie, who is 16. So it's not that weird. Like they're all the same age as James. I just think James behaves more like an adult than they do because they're all on TikTok and he's predominantly on YouTube. So it was kind of a weird one, but it's an easy mistake to make because I used to think they were really young as well. Like I used to think Addison was 16 until people were like, she's 19. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. I mean, now I see it. She definitely looks like a 19-year-old, but because of the content that is being produced, I was like, she's probably 15. She then mentions the fact that he was lucky from being cancelled, and that doesn't last forever. Like that being lucky in the sense like, oh, you know, you're getting away with it, and people are finally going to crack, because she was like, you know, cancel culture is a beast and it's going to catch everyone. And I agree with that. I think cancel culture is, I would prefer for it to not exist and we just replace it with accountability. I think cancel culture in itself, like when someone hears cancel culture or you're being cancelled, that doesn't really motivate them to change, because it expresses like a finality, right? Like it makes it sound so final, like there is no progress to be made after that. Am I making sense? Like cancel culture makes it sound like you made a mistake and you're being cancelled and there is nothing past that. And I feel like accountability culture, which is what Smoky Glow says, is kind of like we hold you accountable, but there's growth from there. You can go somewhere from accountability, whereas once you get cancelled, to influencers it just kind of sounds like, oh, that's the end. Like I made a mistake and I'm cancelled. So they don't even try to improve or try to become better people or try to progress, because cancellation is so final, whereas accountability is an ongoing thing, right? So I wish it wasn't cancel culture. I wish it was accountability culture, where it's just like, you make a mistake, we hold you accountable, and then you can actually grow. But cancel culture just kind of demotivates people from doing anything. So it will just get worse and worse and worse. She also says that he's not cute enough to make the mistakes he makes, and she compares him to Addison Rae and Noah Beck. I think that's mean. First of all, I think James is very cute. I think that was mean. So she says, take a note from Tana Mojo. And that was when she lost me. I was like, she essentially just said that Tana Mojo's apology was like a good one. Even though in the podcast with her sister, she said it was like a bad apology, like one of the worst apologies she's ever seen. So I feel like Trisha Paytas sometimes loses the point of what she's saying. Like sometimes she'll say something and then a week later she says the complete opposite because she already forgot what she said a week before. And I think that's what happens when you don't really have any concrete opinions or anything. You just kind of say whatever you think is right to say right now. You forget what you said before, because she spent a whole like 10 minutes on her podcast talking about how awful Tana Mojo's apology was, and now she's like, take some like lessons from Tana Mojo. And I was like, I don't think Tana Mojo is who we should be taking like apology advice from, because that wasn't a good one. So she said that he's the only person that she hates. She truly believes that he should get cancelled, and that she would prefer to essentially hang out with Tati, Gabby Hanna and David Dobrik than hang out with him. And then she basically just told him to own the fact that he is in drama all the time, and that is what helps his career. I mean, there were some points being made about the Ace family stuff. She kind of lost me during James Charles. I understand what she's trying to say, but I also think, when you call someone a narcissist and sociopath, their response is not going to be the kindest. I see both sides. I also wouldn't like for someone to just out of the blue call me a narcissist and a sociopath. But I think at this point, if Trisha Paytas called me a narcissist and sociopath, I probably wouldn't respond, because I know where that would take me. And it's not a productive place to be when you're beefing Trisha Paytas. Tell me what you think. I'm going to see where this progresses. I don't think James Charles is going to respond any further. I just don't think there's any point. But Trisha Paytas might keep on pushing. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe because I post videos every time something happens. Hit that bell, you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links, second channel links, anything else in description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.